Alright, Shield users, listen up. Here's all you need to know. This is the Meganator V2, and his pronouns are and you. Greetings audience, I'm Boomstick, and today we're going to be looking at the Meganator V2. Now, the Meganator V2 is a 3D printed pump action springer that was originally to fire just a single Mega XL dart. However, the designer came up with a really neat modular front end design that we'll go into later. First, let me mention this Mega XL holder. It holds 12 Mega XL darts, which is enough to fill this rotating 4-shot front end 3 times, so this is really nice to have on your blaster. The front end is a simple twist on, twist off. That one's off. New one's on. So theoretically you could bring a couple of different front ends if you wanted to change out what you were firing mid-game. However, I found myself just sticking with the 4-shot cylinder. Let's start with the rocket front end, which is designed to fire Titan rockets, but can also fire a single Mega XL dart. Next we have the cylinders. You'll have to manually rotate them, but that's still faster than reloading. And while I did build the double RSCB, it's not reliable, which I think is the fault of me not spending enough time trying to tune it. Now let's talk about the build process. First, let me just say there is going to be a limited run of hardware kits from Armatus Designs website, which I will have linked down below in the description. I believe that's also where you're going to get the files for it. However, this hardware kit is a bit on the more expensive side. We're going to be looking upwards of $50. Not 100% sure on the pricing yet. But if you want to get one pre-built, there's, I believe, only one place that's going to be offering them right now, and that is Foamdemic, which I will also have linked down below in the description. Again, pricing going to be upwards to the $170 to $200 range. Not finalized yet, but as soon as the listing is live, I'll try to make sure I have that link down below in the description. Now let's talk about putting it together. First, let me say you're going to want a drill of some kind. There are a lot of screws going on in here, and apparently I have a hard time with square nuts. I have a hard time putting them into the pieces. They'd like to strip on me. It's a whole process. Now I will also say I printed this in PETG, which I'm actually not going to recommend. I think you might want to stick with the PLA ABS range or something like this, maybe not PETG on this one. It's just from my personal experience, I don't really recommend PETG for this one. So while I wouldn't necessarily consider it a hard build, I would say it's tedious, especially with this very interesting plunger design, which is where a lot of your fine tuning is going to come in. I've messed with it some, but I'm actually sure I could get this even better based off Armatus Designs. Version of his blaster is performing slightly better than mine, and I think that just comes down to tuning on this one. Now, as you may notice, there are 2 springs in here, so it's kind of important that you put this together properly so that way your springs don't wind themselves together. I've had to open it up, I think, twice now for 2 different reasons. One for the spring, one to change out one of these pieces from PETG to PLA because the force was just too much for the PETG. Which leads me to say, getting to the plunger, not easy. You pretty much have to take a lot of this apart to get to the plunger, which is extremely tedious if you have to do maintenance. So again, back to the whole tedious mentality. Now let's talk about comfort. As you can see with the thumb hole stock, it might be a little cramped depending on the size of your hands. It's not too bad for me. The handle is okay, like not overly comfortable, not uncomfortable. Like it's not noticeable, I'll put it that way. The foregrip is nice. I do find that fairly comfortable. The shoulder stock, it's got a bit of a bevel into it, but I mean, it's okay. It's a smaller stock, so it's a lot more pressure concentrated in one area, so keep that in mind. And the prime weight, I don't consider to be too bad, but obviously that's going to be dependent person to person. But now let's get to the fun part. Let's take it outside and fling some foam downrange. Firing Mega XL darts flat, I'm getting around 70 feet at around 90 FPS, which is pretty decent for a larger ammo type. However, if you add some arc to it, the Mega XL darts will travel over 100 feet, which is harder to aim, but the extra distance is nice. I was unfortunately unable to really test the Titan rocket barrel due to the fact that the Titan rockets I had were way too tight on the barrel. And talking to other people, it seems like this is a common issue with aftermarket Titan rockets. So keep that in mind if you're going to fire Titan rockets, but you only have aftermarket ones. The double RCB, when it works, will fire 2 darts around 60 feet at about 120 FPS. However, if one gets stuck in the barrel, the other one will pick up that speed going over 90 feet, which makes keeping it under that lower FPS cap difficult. I loaded up the dart cylinder with full lengths, half lengths, 12 of the Monkey Mods 50 cal foam balls, and 8 Monkey Mods 50 cal foam balls. Full length and half length darts performed about the same, going a little over 50 feet with a decent spread. The 50 cal foam balls, while going much shorter, did make a decent cloud, so if you're in range, it's gonna hit who you're aiming at. It took a little bit of practice, but I actually got pretty decent at arcing Mega XL darts during our low FPS rounds with the Maryland Nerf herders. Now, while reloading is slow, if you just top off as you go, it's not too bad. I also used the shotgun cylinder for HVZ, which again, not the fastest, but it's gonna hit who you're aiming at. And I actually saved a group of humans because a zombie popped out in front of me and I was able to just blast it. So now that we've had a chance to take it to the range and field test it, I gotta say I do really love the Meganator V2. It's so much fun to use. It took me a little bit of practice to get the arcing right, but I do think I'll be very effective against shields. Now, outside of the lower FPS rounds or HVZ, something like this is going to be a bit bulky to carry with you to deal with like specialty types and shields. It's a bit much. So I would almost recommend leaving it at your spawn point until you need it, or throwing a sling on it and throwing it over your back, which is kind of what I plan to do. But again, it's a bit bulky, adds some extra weight, so if you're trying to be light and fast, this might not be for you, unless you're in a lower FPS round where you can just run this as your primary. But overall, if you have a use for Mega XL, this is the hardest hitting spring-powered Mega XL blaster that I know of right now, so keep that in mind. Overall, I do really love this blaster. I'll probably mainly be using it in this configuration unless I can get either some better rockets or get my double RCB working, which I gotta admit I don't really feel like putting the time into right now. As much as I think it would be fun, it is just too annoying to deal with for me at this point. So, but other than that, you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of this in my Day of Nerf videos, so keep an eye out and keep flinging foam. Thank you all for watching, and special thank you to all my lovely patrons out there. And if you'd like to support the channel or any of the hobbyists featured in this video, definitely check out the links in the description below. Don't forget, patrons of the $5 or above level get custom stickers from yours truly. But if you don't feel like supporting the channel in that way, go ahead and leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to see what we're going to do next. Thank you again for watching. I've been Boomstick, and I'm out.